ladies and gentlemen, Driven Dave here with another exciting video. We're here today in my 2008 Toyota Sienna XLE Limited. I know, it's impressive. And yeah, so we're having a couple of little issues with the van. I think mainly it's that we're at 137,000 miles. And this vehicle has not had, we really have not done much of anything to it. So she's running a little rough, not so much at idle, but like I noticed like the vibration in the steering wheel between like 40 and 50, 55, something like that. And it just generally, it doesn't feel as eager to move as it used to. I mean, it's still, it still gets around fine, but it's just kind of not as smooth and not as peppy, and I suspect she may need spark plugs, and I'm concerned about the cost of the labor on that because the three on the back side of the engine are pretty hard to get to, and I would imagine most shops will charge accordingly for that. So that's kind of a bummer, but got to do it. It's been a really good van, and I want it to continue to be a really good van. And the other thing that I haven't done since I bought the car is the transmission service. Not a flush, but just a drain and fill. And I know I'm kind of rolling the dice at this point, doing it at this mileage. But I think I'm going to go ahead and roll the dice. I did it on my LS400 and it paid off. Almost at the same miles. That was at like 140, and I changed the fluid and did it like 3 more times, and the transmission really improved, if anything. So I'm hoping that'll be the case here. The other issue we're having, the sliding door on the driver's side. For whatever reason, the outside handle works sometimes, not all the time. So I need to get that addressed. The passenger side sliding door doesn't always like to open either, but it's for like a different reason. It seems like it's not quite in alignment or something. I don't know. But I think the biggest things I'm going to make sure that he looks at today would have to be the transmission service and also the possible misfire. And yeah. So I think that's probably the biggest stuff for today. And you can also see the tire pressure light is on. So I'm going to need to have them check the air pressure. That happens a lot with these vans. And I'm assuming most Toyotas of this era, whenever there's a temperature change, it'll trip the light. And it's kind of unfortunate because like every time this light comes on, you kind of just go, oh, it's nothing. But then there's that one time that it is a flat. And then you're like, oh, well, I should have paid attention to the light. And that did happen to us, like the light came on, we were on the freeway, and I wasn't really paying attention to it. And then I noticed there was some shimmying in the steering wheel. It's like, oh, I think we have a flat. And we did. So, and happy to say those Michelin Defenders, pretty strong sidewall on that tire, and it really kept us safe. Not that it's a run flat, but like I was able to maneuver the vehicle no problem when it was in a low air pressure condition. So, happy to recommend that tire, absolutely. So we're pulling up here to Foothill Independent Motor Works. Let's hope he can take me. It's a little late, but we're going to try anyway. And here we are. See George and Ricky. Wow, that's a pretty cool Supra they got back there. I like that. All right, well, I will check back later once we figure out what's going on. Just wanted to give a shout out to my buddy Casey, whose rig got hit last night, or I guess early this morning. Thankfully, he wasn't in it. It was one of those situations. He had his rig parked in front of his place, And I guess at like 4 in the morning, some dude fell asleep and smashed his truck and most likely totaled it. So such a bummer, man. I just rode in that truck. Uh, what is today? I don't even know what today is. Like 2 or 3 days ago, I rode in that truck when we filmed a little short acceleration thing. And really nice truck, 2019 Tacoma Sport double cab short bed TRD. It's a long name. I can't even say it. So maybe it's for the better. Casey, buy a truck that's easier to say. But dude, really sorry about your ride, man. That was a nice truck. Telling Casey, like, I lost a rig years ago, probably about 15 years ago. I was parked on La Brea down in Hollywood. I had a really nice 2004 Volkswagen Passat GLX, like fully loaded, really nice car. It only had like 18,000 miles on it, and some moron in a Mercedes SL, whatever it was like a $120,000 car. Don't know what happened, but he clobbered my poor car while it was parked on the street. And it's weird, man, because like when you really like a car, seeing it destroyed like that can be really traumatic. Like, even if you're not in it, I mean, like, I'm grateful that I wasn't in the car when that happened. I'm grateful that my buddy Casey wasn't in his car when it got hit. But it's like, when you have a rig that you like, it's, it's almost as painful, almost more painful, because you feel like, oh, if I had just been in the car, I could have prevented it or something, But anyway, just kind of a bummer to wake up to some sad news. But, we can buy more trucks and more cars. We can't buy more friends. I guess unless you're like Elon Musk and you have tons of money. But, for regular folks, I got to keep the friends I have because I can't afford new ones. So, in any case, just a little update on the minivan. As you can see, I'm driving right now by the sweet Graco car seat behind me. So, getting ready for a little bit of road trip action coming up in the near future, and I just want to make sure that my rig is right. You know what I mean? I was driving it to Ventura the other day, and I noticed a little bit of shake in the wheel around 50, 60 miles an hour when I was on the brakes kind of hard. So I think we've got some slightly warped rotors. I don't think that should be too expensive, so I do want to get that dealt with. Additionally, to kind of follow up with the video from the other day or a couple of weeks ago, when I was taking this car in, we ended up doing a new CV axle. We ended up doing new control arms because the bushings were just done. And then sway bar end links, did those too. And a motor mount, passenger side motor mount, and transmission service. So I'm happy to report, and knock on wood, we've got 138,000 miles on the car. First transmission service we've done. I don't know what's been done before, but it's shifting beautifully. So I feel like we really scored on that. That was totally worth it. Cost about $250. It's an expensive service, but not as expensive as a new transmission. CV axle really wasn't that big of a deal. The part was $90 and the labor was whatever it was. That wasn't that expensive. I think the control arms were kind of pricey. But really all the parts, I think it was like $450 in parts, and the rest was labor. So it's about $1,200 out the door. Pretty expensive. But I mean, it drives like a new van. Like, the steering is so good. Everything's smooth and tight. I mean, the car just feels really nimble. It even feels like it has more power. I know it doesn't, but it feels like it does. It's way smoother, and it's just great. So really happy with that. So today I'm taking it back to my dude George and have him kind of address the brake situation. I think it's just going to need, the rotors smoothed out, resurfaced. So it shouldn't be a big deal. Even if we need new rotors, shouldn't really be a big deal. The parts for these cars are just so readily available. It's really terrific. These Siennas are like cockroaches. They're everywhere, and they're going to outlive all of us. So that's what we're doing, and I will post an update. Uh, well, here we are, part I don't know what of the saga of the minivan. So I got it back from George today. Looks like we did need to machine the rotors, and it feels good. Turns out we did not have an alignment done after the control arms and all of that stuff was done. So sadly, this place is now closed. But there's a little tire shop over here, and they do alignments. So trying to get one done real quick. They were nice to fit me in real quick here, which is great. And so the guy test drove my car, which is awesome. I like when an alignment guy will actually test drive first, because that, how do you know what's wrong without driving it? I know the machines do what they do, but, I like that personal service. He felt like the rack and pinion was loose, like it needs a new rack and pinion. He's probably right, but I told him to just go ahead and do the alignment for now. Then maybe in a few months, once I recover from all these repairs, maybe we'll do rack and pinion. I need to price those out and see how much they are. They're probably not too bad for the Sienna, just because Siennas are cheap and they're everywhere and the parts are everywhere. So I'm not too worried about that, but I think it will need to be done. You know how Stephen Colbert used to do a tip of the hat and a wag of the finger? A wag of the finger to Just Tires. I called their La Cañada location today, and because I think I bought a 3-year alignment, which is a bad deal, by the way, don't do it. I just thought, oh, it'll be great whenever I need an alignment. Got Just Tires right down the street. Of course, that one burned to the ground, so I can't go there anymore. And so there's other one in La Cañada. They're like, yeah, we don't currently have a technician that can do alignments. I'm like, so you're never going to have one? Like, what's the story? He's like, well, the guy that was doing it had a family emergency. We don't know how long he'll be gone. Thanks for nothing. So, Rudy's Tires, man. Right on. $60. So just find a good small shop and do your alignments there. That's my advice. So yeah, man, we'll figure out. We'll see how it's driving after the alignment here, and brace for a new steering rack eventually. I think we can probably go another 30,000 miles maybe, because it's not that loose. Anyway, hopefully this is the last part of the installment, but I'll probably check in once I get the van on the road. 2 trips to George's and then a trip to the alignment shop. Not to mention a tire rotation that I recently did. So I feel like I've just been taking this car everywhere to get it like slightly fixed. But that's just how it goes, man. Like, hopefully you do your maintenance and then you don't have to do this stuff for a while, which is nice. But, really good van. I really can't complain, considering how much we paid for this car. And we really haven't had to put that much money into it, which is awesome, and that's what you would hope with a Toyota. But look, man, they're not free. Even a Toyota needs work. So it's completely understandable. Just driving it after the alignment, it feels really good. It feels perfect. As far as I can tell, I think I found my favorite new alignment dude. It's my man Javier over at Rudy's Tires. Really, really awesome guy. He's been in the business for like 30 years. He does the alignments by hand, no computers. He takes measurements and, whatever magic a good alignment guy does. And from what I can tell, he's good. He test drives it before, test drives it after, make sure that tire pressure in all the tires is correct. I mean, I know all of this is just stuff that should be done when you get an alignment, but, you go to some of these big name tire shops, they've got some kid that just does what the computer says. Not to say that like that won't, be a similar end result, because I've had some good alignments in tire shops, even when it's some kid at a computer. But, my favorite alignment is always by hand. And it's always somebody who has been doing it a long time. They know exactly what to look for. They're conscientious. They take pride in it. And you can tell when Javier does an alignment, like he puts his heart into it, you know, and that's nice to see. I mean, and car drives great, you know, and he said, actually, I probably don't need a steering rack. You know, I mean, I think I might eventually. I wouldn't be surprised. But I think what he was feeling when he first drove it was just all the slop in the suspension from getting new control arms and new sway bar end links and not having an alignment. You know, that'll do it. You know, that'll do it for sure. But yeah, very, very happy with this alignment. It was $60. Man, it's a way better deal than paying for a 3-year alignment at Just Tires. Like, of course, I would never do that. It's hot in here. Because yeah, I think they charge like $180 for that. So for that, I could just go get 3 alignments with Javier for, you know, in 3 years. I would rather just go see Javier. He's faster and he's better and he's nicer and he's a small business. So it's a win-win-win. So I think I just basically wasted my money on that Just Tires alignment. We're about to put a bunch of miles on the van, and I don't want to chew up these beautiful tires, you know, these beautiful Goodyears. So that's my story. But anyway, folks, if you've watched this far, thank you so much. And I will see you very soon in the next one. Bye.